Katniss is wearing a flame battle robe and riding a soul chariot. With the shouts of the audience, Katniss declared war on President Snow. In order to suppress the people, the ruling class holds a cruel hunger game every year. 24 people from 12 districts will fight on an artificial intelligence island until only one person is left alive. At this time, Sister Willowshield was selected. In order to save Willowshield, Katniss applied to replace her. Soon, the contestants were tagged with trackers and waited for the game to begin. Citizens across the country can watch the entire Hunger Games fight. As the countdown expired, the contestants rushed to the arsenal. After getting the weapons, they started killing each other. Here is the law of the jungle. Katniss picks up the package and runs away. As a result, Katniss fell. When Katniss was about to be killed, the contestant was killed by a dart. Unexpectedly, the opponent attacked Katniss with a dart. Katniss ran into the depths of the woods. Within minutes, half the contestants were dead. A woman warms herself by a fire in a brutal jungle. Katniss could only hide in the tree when she heard the woman's scream. The crisis is still coming, and the fire is rushing towards Katniss, scaring Katniss to run wildly. Katniss, who escaped, didn't know that all of this was the masterpiece of the game designer. Suddenly a big tree fell down, and Katniss couldn't dodge in time, and her leg was injured. A fireball struck and Katniss slipped down the hillside only to escape. The other contestants discovered Katniss. Katniss could only run away, because being caught up by them would only lead to death. Katniss had no choice but to climb up a tree. One of the contestants also climbed up. He snapped off the branch and fell. The contestant next to him took an arrow and shot Katniss, but missed. A few people could only wait under the tree. Wanted to wait until Katniss was hungry and come down by herself. At this time Katniss was hungry and tired, and the pain from the wound was tormenting her. But she could only suffer in silence. Early the next morning, a miracle happened. Nia greets Katniss from the opposite tree. Nia alerted Katniss to the top of her head. Katniss saw a giant hornet's nest. Nia reminded Katniss again that there were several people sleeping under the tree. Katniss understood what she meant. At this time, the host introduced to the audience
genetically engineered wasps, whose venom causes searing pain.
Katniss crawled towards the poisonous hive. Katniss began sawing the branches with the dagger. Because the poisonous bee hive was too close, some poisonous bees came to sting her. Despite the pain, Katniss made no sound. Katniss continues to saw branches, which is Katniss' only chance of survival. Katniss sawed off the branch, and when several people were stung under the tree, Katniss got down from the tree. Katniss starts hallucinating and Nia saves Katniss just in time. The two ate some game to satisfy their hunger, but it was not enough for them. Katniss decides to grab something and come back. There is only one person guarding the supply station. Suddenly, a competitor runs to the supply station. While the guards were not paying attention, the contestants picked up an object and ran away. Katniss, who was watching from the side, seemed to see something. Katniss drew an arrow from her back and fired the arrow, breaking through the sack of apples. The apple rolled down. Suddenly there was a big explosion. It turned out that there were many Landons buried around the supply station, and the supply station was blown up. Katniss turned to Nia. Katniss found Nia following the cries for help. All of a sudden, the contestant attacked them from behind. Unfortunately, Nia was killed. This completely angered Katniss, and it also angered the watching public, aroused strong resistance from the people. In order to eliminate public outrage, the game designer and President Snow modified the rules of the game.
Victors may be crowned if both originate from the same district.
After hearing the news, Katniss found Pete, who was pretending to be a stone. The hungry two were going to find some food. Suddenly a wild boar pounced on Pete. Katniss hits the boar with an arrow. The two fled frantically and climbed to a higher place. The two of them climbed up with difficulty, but they were attacked from behind. During the fight, one of the competitors holds Pete hostage. Katniss shot him in the palm with a bow. Pete took the opportunity to push the contestant down. At this time, there were 24 people, and only 2 of them were left alive. Thought the horrific game of hunt was over. The game designer suddenly repented, and let one of the 2 die to end the game. The 2 were going to eat the poisonous fruit together to fight against this unfair rule. In order not to cause greater commotion among the people, the 2 were declared the final winners. President Snow was very dissatisfied with this result and killed the game designer. President Snow also found an opportunity to attack Katniss. Can Katniss escape again?